What APIs have you typically used?
YouTube.
YouTube, okay.
Twitter.
Twitter,
Facebook.
Flickr,
Facebook.
Facebook. Oh yeah, you can't live without Facebook. Okay, at least I can't live without Facebook. Okay, and you know how good it is and easy it is to integrate with these APIs, right? Especially you have different APIs from different companies, and you really have to, put on your hand and say, oh, what parameters do I require? I require an API key here, a consumer secret here, and all those things here. And probably the paths will be very different, and you change from version 1 to version 2, and suddenly you say, oh my god, I need to rewrite my code again because Google has deprecated Google Maps API v2 and they forcing me to move to v3. Okay. Now, YQL is something that will help you to counter any of these problems that you come across while creating your applications, so especially a mashup. So just to give you an idea of how good a mashup can be or how easy to write a code for a mashup can be. So I have a very simple application which takes in a city name, runs through 4 different sources, one to get the latest Flickr photos, the other one to get the weather, the third one to get the news, fourth one to get Twitter, latest tweets corresponding to the city London. Well, let me just change. London is good. How about Boston? So I'm not fooling, it's the real data coming in. Okay. This has not changed, maybe. Okay. Okay, so the thing here is, this is an application that I created in about 40 minutes flat, and I really did not need to go through any of the documentation of any of the APIs that I'm integrating with. This is actually coming from the Yahoo Boss Search API that helps you to search using Yahoo search engine. Okay, so if you go to developer.yahoo.com/YQL/console, that is something that will give you access to the console of YQL in case you just want to play around with the things. And some of the best thing that I can point out here is the data tables. So I see here close to about 120 data tables, and I turn on saying show me the community tables as well. The count becomes tenfold. So remaining 900 tables of them have been contributed by the community, people who have probably no association with Yahoo and they just love YQL. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me search for Twitter, and I have something called. Okay, let me just do a Flickr first. Flickr photo search. Okay, so Flickr photo search, and I click on DESC description. It gives me a basic idea of how should a query look like. Now, all I have to remember is how many of us work with MySQL ever in your life? A SQL-like syntax. So DESC describe the table. It will give you basically what kind of parameters are supported. Not everything may be mandatory. Here it says the only thing which is mandatory is API_key, and the rest everything is optional. So I say select a star from, what's the name of the table? Flickr.photos.search, where text equals, let's say, London, and let me do some cheating out here. I have my API key here, just copy paste. Yeah, I think the best thing to do in the computer world is copy paste. I love that feature. Test it out. Wow. So this is one query that helped me get connected to Flickr and get probably here in this case, I don't know, maybe 10 photos. I can say just limit me to 3 latest photos, and I get just 3 photos. So how much do I need to learn about Flickr API? 0. This syntax looks very familiar. So what extra you had to learn about? Just the parameters. It requires a parameter text, probably an API key. Let me do something interesting. Let me see if I have Google search available here. Okay, so Google search. So very simple. It says a sample query. Select a star from Google search where q equals, let's say lambda. Select a star from google.search where q equals 11. I mean, you can use single quotes or double quote, doesn't matter much. Wow. How much do I need to know about extra thing called Google search? Nothing. So this is what YQL in essence has to offer. With close to about 1,000 tables, well over 1,000 tables, 1,074 tables in all. It covers almost practically anything and everything that you will need to create your mashup apps. Let me cover one more part, which is probably secret. Okay. Let me integrate with the Yahoo search where q equals London. Okay, cool. Okay. Now this is what I get the search results from Yahoo. The great part is if I need to combine Google search and Yahoo search and get the data in a unified form, or maybe the photos and the search results and the Twitter without firing multiple times, I can do that again in a SQL syntax. I don't need to maintain different types of code bases. Oh, this is an abstraction on top of Twitter, abstraction on top of Facebook or something. Select star from YQL.query.multi, okay, where queries equals in this part. This is the first query. Second query is select star from let me see, Twitter.search. Okay. Maybe 5 search results where q equals, and then okay, that looks good to go. Okay, so I get the results from Boss search, I get results from Twitter search. I get the data in the language that I'm most comfortable with, probably the JSON format. So this is my response from Boss, response from Yahoo search. Scroll down, I had, and these are the latest tweets that are there. All I need to do is just process this Twitter JSON.parse, get the data, and I'm good to go. Sounds good? Sounds cool? Yeah. Now, in case you wonder where all these data tables are maintained, or probably if you want to scan through all of them, the entire code, how it works, everything is available on GitHub, github.com/YQL. And one of the projects that is there in YQL is YQL tables. So it has the code base of all the tables contributed by hackers across the world. In case you have a library or a service that you love and it is not listed here, you can contribute to it. And there are a lot of libraries. I mean, if you look at piece of code change, well, let me see which is the latest one that contributed. 7 months ago, I saw something 2 months ago. Okay, month ago. Okay, so people are contributing to it actively. Well, I think if we have another Facebook coming up, we should have Facebook 2 EP also here. Okay, so that's a quick intro about YQL. For the guys who are looking at for the code of this application that I have developed, this is again on GitHub, Yahoo Open Hack 2013. So github.com/GUI/YOH Yahoo Open Hack -2013 is where you can get access to the entire code. By the way, this app is built on top of Mojito. So demonstrate Mojito, YUI, YQL, the entire mashup, and you get to go. But I think that's a quick 10 minutes from my side. Any questions?
Jonathan, are there any sort of YQL libraries for Android at the moment that are supported by Yahoo? Not just a community thing.
So, what do you mean by supported on Android?
Yeah, so like native libraries. So I see it's returning JSON, but is there anything that you can do in a bit more detail using the native libraries or anything like that?
Oh, okay. So YQL, if you look at, in essence, what I've shown through is the YUI interface of YQL. So very strictly speaking, as you look at the console, the bottom part, this is the query, and you can make your query maybe any kind of HTTP request, and you get this data. By default, the format has been JSON here. I'll just make it as XML if you want, and if you want, you can use an XML parser as well. So very strictly speaking, it's actually a web service call, and this web service call is a federated web service, so it can do a lot of things in the backend for you. So YUI is only one of the forms to get access to it. If you have any HTTP library, you can connect to this query.yahoo.com and get it.
What about the local databases, let's say Mongo, and combining these results in one query?
Great question. So, technically speaking, yes, it is possible. The only thing that we probably require is, is a table that can talk to the MongoDB. So right now nobody has contributed to it, but it's a very good point. Let's see if I can contribute to it, or maybe you can contribute to it. So it's very simple to do it. For every parameter, the query that you get, you will have all the parse parameters available to you. For example, for connecting to MongoDB, you may require a host name and a port number and the credentials to connect to it, and then maybe a query on top of it. Can do it. Technically, yes, it's possible. Right now, probably not.
So how do these tables work? Are these tables like just some sort of an abstraction over some data source, or are they like actual physical tables where something is putting in and dumping data and then you're querying over them?
Okay, so they give you the latest data from actual call, live call to the server. So they don't have any data. So if I look at my Twitter search, Twitter.search API, it says it actually has to connect to some URL like this with some parameters, and these are the input parameters. And it does, the YQL engine does the hard work of matching everything and making the call. This call probably can point to, this is a very simple HTTP call, but in a sense it can be a complex call, like what you said, connecting to a MongoDB server as well.
It's always live data.
It's always live data. So the latest that you get from the town is the latest what is here. The temperature is this is the latest tweet. If I look at this tweet, this is 27th April, yeah, so it's almost real time. Okay, my time is actually IST, so you get probably a different time altogether. But then it's the real data almost coming in near real time. Yeah.
Right now, if we do a YQL query, ask Yahoo server, can we have our own YQL server?
Oh yeah, fantastic question. Yes, you can do that, but you'll have to maintain a good infrastructure. So the only thing is, the Yahoo, the YQL hosting infrastructure is not open source. So if you want to create a clone of YQL server, you'll have to build things on your own. Okay. Any more? Cool, so we are good to go? Yeah? Good luck for your hacks. Okay, thanks.